So the subject of Iraq came up. And it's similar to what he has said before, that Iraq was a big mistake. It was the stupidest thing Bush ever did. And it is said that that's one of the reasons the Bushes split, you know, from Trump and wouldn't support him. And that may well be true. But the big challenge for us is to take a look at what he said there, that it was a stupid mistake. At the same time, he's pursuing other countries almost in a similar manner, that we're interventionists and we have troops there.
And you know, he'll say one thing one day and one thing the other day, and we've talked about this for at least a year or so. But it was in his resort down there in Mar-a-Lago, and he said, "Here we are, the dummies of the world, because we've had bad politicians running our country for a long time." I don't think many of us would disagree with that. As you point out, he said invading Iraq was, quote, the single worst decision ever made. It amounted to, quote, throwing a brick into a hornet's nest. But the question is, right, so then why do you keep throwing that brick back in? Why do you stay in? You know, it's a good question. That was Bush, another real genius. That turned out to be wonderful intelligence, you know, a great intelligence agency there. But what I think he misunderstands, and this is a fatal flaw in his understanding of what happened, is that it wasn't the intelligence agencies that failed as such. You know, what it was is that the intelligence was manipulated. Someone actively came in and did something they knew was incorrect to manipulate the intelligence to show a certain outcome. Those somebodies were called neocons.
As a matter of fact, they were very successful in getting the people riled up, because the people initially didn't want to have this war, and they finally got convinced that Saddam Hussein had the weapons of mass destruction.
And now we're looking at 15 years since the beginning of the war. On March 20th was the opening day of shock and awe. But as you say, it was based on lies. It was based on active lies. The Al-Qaeda connection, which is false. The aluminum tubes. Oh, this is you know, these are precursors to rockets. They're going to shoot rockets at us. Totally false. Mohammed Atta, one of the masterminds of the 9/11 attacks, he met with the Iraqi intelligence in Eastern Europe. A total false. What about Judith Miller, the writer, the journalist, who day after day was churning out lies? She had a direct pipeline to the neocons in the Pentagon, churning out lies. She's still a journalist. She's now an expert for Fox News.
Right.
You know?
And yet, policies don't change. It's great that Trump has said this, but it would be even greater if he could take this and extrapolate this to a foreign policy that makes sense. If that was stupid and they can't understand it, it was totally worthless and based on lies, why don't they look at all the other things that have been going on since then? All the things that happened with Obama, and it continues to happen. There's too much engagement. You know, we haven't left Afghanistan yet. You know, we continue to make the same mistakes.